My beloved child, what I am doing within you is not merely changing a few outward thoughts, nor is it only adding a little courage to your life so you can get through a few difficult days. I am touching the very place where your first reactions are born, the place where you once sprang up in fear before you could remember that I was near. In the past, when something unexpected happened, your heart often ran first toward panic. You quickly imagined the worst, quickly guessed what others were thinking, quickly blamed yourself, quickly tried to control everything. And only after you had exhausted yourself in those spirals did you return to me like someone gathering broken pieces. You called upon me after the storm had already risen in your heart. You sought me when your choices had already been dragged too far by fear. You prayed for peace after you had already handed control over to the voices that confused you. But in this season, I am not only healing the old consequences, I am teaching you a new rhythm of life, so that you will know how to return to me before reacting, before answering, before deciding, before allowing a passing emotion to write the future on your behalf. That new rhythm does not necessarily appear in a grand form. Sometimes you will not kneel in a quiet place. You will not speak a long prayer aloud. And you will not have time to separate yourself from everything that is happening. Yet right in the middle of a tense conversation, right when a message makes your heart waver, right when you feel the urge to respond in self-defense, there is a very small pause I place within you. That pause is like a slit of light between two walls. Just one breath. Just 1 second when you do not rush to follow the old habit. Just one moment when you whisper within your heart, I want you to look at this with me. And the very thing that seems so small redirects the whole current. You are no longer swept away like a leaf in floodwater. You begin to stand still, not because everything outside has calmed down, but because within you there is a place that knows how to return. I know you once thought peace was a gift that only came after everything had been resolved. You thought that when the other person understood you, when the situation became clear, when the result was in your hands, when the danger disappeared, when the answer came in full, only then could you breathe easily. But I'm teaching you that my peace is not the reward at the end of the road. Peace is the lamp given to you on the road itself. It does not wait for every wind to stop blowing before it appears. It walks with you while the wind is still there. It does not tell you that nothing matters, but it helps you look at what matters without losing your steadiness. Peace does not make you numb, it makes you clear-minded. Peace does not make you careless. It helps you recognize what truly requires action and what is only noise, demanding that you react immediately. Long ago, Nehemiah stood before the king with a face weighed down because Jerusalem lay in ruins. He was in a very dangerous moment, because one wrong word, one expression revealed too plainly, one hasty reaction before the king's authority could have turned his life toward disaster. When the king asked him what he desired, Nehemiah did not rush to pour out the words he had prepared, nor did he let fear make his mouth tremble. In that very brief moment, he turned his heart toward me before he answered. No one around him saw all that was happening within him, but I saw. It was not a long ceremony, not a holy place built by ritual, but a very swift rhythm of returning between pressure and response. And from that rhythm of returning, his words were placed on the right path. The door was opened, and the journey of rebuilding what had fallen began. Do you see? There are great decisions that are saved by a small pause before me. In the same way, my child, many things in your life do not need more speed, but more direction toward me. You do not become weaker when you slow down for one breath. You do not lose an opportunity because you pause to listen to me. In truth, it is the times you do not hurry that help you avoid paths that drain you. In the past, because you wanted to escape discomfort, You may have answered too quickly, agreed too soon, apologized even when the fault was not yours, explained too much just to have peace, or stayed silent too long because you feared disappointing others. You may have scrolled through screens to numb what you did not want to feel, guessed what others meant until your strength was depleted, built dozens of scenarios in your mind just to prepare for something that might never happen. But now, I am placing a new wakefulness within you. You are beginning to realize not every call requires you to run after it. Not every discomfort requires you to put it out immediately. Not every emotion that appears deserves to sit in the driver's seat. Some of your victories will be very quiet. No one knows that today you did not reopen an old conversation to wound yourself again. No one knows that you put the phone down instead of searching for something to make you forget yourself. No one saw that you breathed before replying to a word that hurt you. No one applauded when you chose silence. Not because you were weak, but because you recognized that speaking at that moment would not produce life. But I see every renewed reaction within you, like each stone being set back into a wall that had once collapsed. I see that you no longer use fear as your first counselor. I see you beginning to ask, what belongs to peace? What belongs to haste? What comes from wisdom? And what is only an old habit trying to pull you back? My beloved child, this new rhythm does not make you slow in the sense of becoming stagnant. It makes you rightly paced. A person controlled by fear may look very busy, yet inside they are being dragged in circles by fires created by their own haste. A person who walks with me may seem slower, but each step has a foundation. Each word has weight. Each decision is less stained by panic. I am not calling you to live in rigid control, as though you must guard every emotion so you do not make a mistake. I am calling you to live in connection with me, so that when something touches you, you are not immediately carried away by an old wound. Between what happens and what you do next, I place a holy silence. In that space, you remember who you are. Remember where I am. Remember that not everything urgent comes from me, and not every pressure is worthy of your obedience. Therefore, when something unsettling appears, do not rush to conclude that you have returned to the way you were. Uneasiness is not always failure. Many times it is only a bell telling you that you need to return to me before moving forward. There will be times when you still tremble, still feel confused, still want to react in the old way. But the difference is that you no longer allow that reaction to walk its full path. You recognize it sooner. You name it more gently. You place it before me more quickly. And each time you do so, an old pathway within you loses more strength, and a new road opens a little wider. Renewal is not always loud. Sometimes it is the ability to pause before the very thing that once made you rush. My beloved child, there are signs of my presence that do not come through something overwhelming, but through a very deep stillness, after days of waves and turbulence, when weariness has passed and you can still sit down in peace, when the question has not yet been answered, yet it no longer drags you hour by hour, when the old memory is still there but no longer rules your breathing. That is a sign that I am working within you. I do not come only to change the scenery around you. I come to place within you a firm foundation that the wind cannot easily shake. Perhaps nothing very large has changed outwardly yet, but you have begun to become different. You do not react as before. Do not hurry to condemn yourself as before. Do not chase after every noise as before. Do not allow one weekday to define the entire journey. Do you see? Some miracles do not roar like thunder. They are quiet like roots going deep into the soil, hidden yet making the whole tree stand firm in the season of wind. I know there are still many things within you that are not clear. There are questions you have carried for a long time, empty places you want me to fill immediately, reasons you want to hear so your heart can stop wondering. But my child, Not every question must be explained at once for you to walk rightly. There are things I hold back not to make you suffer, but so you may learn to rely on me more than on your own understanding. If you only have peace when everything is clear, then that peace is still too thin. I want to give you a deeper peace, a peace that can still stand when a section of the map is missing. Still breathe when the answer has not come. Still trust when you see only enough light for the next step. I do not require you to see the whole long road ahead. I only invite you to place your foot in the portion of light I am giving today. And when that step needs another, I will light enough for you. Long ago, my people passed through the wilderness without being given a storehouse of food enough for many years so they could feel secure in their own way. Each day, I gave them enough for that day. They had to wake up, go out, bend down, and receive what I had prepared. In that way, I taught them that life does not rest only in what they can hold, but in the faithful one who gives each morning. If I had given them everything from the beginning, they might have filled their tents, but forgotten to look upward. If I had placed all things in their hands, they might have felt safe because of their storage, but they would not necessarily have learned to rest in me. You are the same. Many times you want me to give you every answer in advance, every assurance, every solid proof that the future will be all right. But I love you too much to let you turn control into your refuge. I teach you to receive enough for today, to walk enough for today, to trust enough for today, and tomorrow to meet my new mercy again. So when you are tired, do not think I am disappointed in you. I do not stand above you counting the times you slow down. I do not frown when I see that you need rest. I do not call you weak simply because you can no longer run as before. I am the Father who knows every limit within you, who knows even the things you have not yet managed to say, who knows why your eyes are heavy, why your heart is quiet, why there are days when you only want to sit still without having to explain anything more. When you stop, I do not walk away. When you are silent, I do not see it as distance. When you no longer have a complete prayer, I still hear your sigh. You do not need to create a loud sound to remind me of you, because I have never forgotten you. Your name is not written on a sheet of paper that can fade. Your name is kept in my enduring love. There are times when you doubt yourself because of the days your heart wavers. You think, if I truly believed, why do I still question? If I were truly strong, why am I still tired? If I truly belong to you, why do I still lose my rhythm at times? But my beloved child, weak days do not erase your belonging. The times you do not understand do not make me leave you. The moments you struggle do not invalidate the covenant of my love. You do not belong to me because you always do right, always think rightly, always feel clearly. You belong to me because I have chosen you with the kindness of an unchanging Father. When you stumble, I lift you. When you forget, I remind you. When you are far, I call you. When you no longer have enough strength to hold on to me, I still hold you with a hand that never grows weary. Let this rest enter you slowly, like gentle rain soaking into land that has been dry for a long time. You do not need to hurry to become a perfect version of yourself to prove that you have heard me. You do not need to compare your steps with anyone else, nor use someone else's speed to condemn your own journey. There are seasons when I do not teach you to run faster, but to walk more truthfully. There are seasons when I do not open many more doors, but heal the way you stand before one door. There are seasons when I do not answer with a loud voice, but train your ear to become familiar with my gentle touch. And when you have learned that tenderness, I do not need to shake the whole sky to lead you back. Just one small sign, one holy uneasiness, one quiet reminder in your heart, one peace deeper than usual. is enough for you to recognize my direction. You have gone through enough to know that going back is no longer the choice of life. You have also stood in silence long enough to understand that running away is no longer the way to healing. From now on, I do not force you to do loud things to prove that you have matured. I rejoice when I see you choose what is right in very small matters, speaking more slowly, resting at the right time, refusing what is no longer your portion, apologizing when needed, forgiving when your heart is ready, moving forward without dragging every old burden with you. These decisions may not receive anyone's applause, but before my eyes, they carry the fragrance of truth. They show that you are no longer living to perform, but living to move in harmony with my leading rhythm. Now, you do not need to panic because a door has not yet opened, nor do you need to despair because a door once closed. Sometimes I place you in an in-between space, not to torment you, but so you may learn to dwell in me before stepping into something new. The in-between is not abandonment. The in-between is where I soften your heart, correct your vision, remove unnecessary impatience from you, and prepare for you feet that know not only how to walk quickly, but how to walk rightly. Do not see this time as empty. In my eyes, it is a field being plowed, the morning before the sowing season, the quiet room before the next calling is heard. My beloved child, do not wait until your life resounds with violent sounds before believing that I am near. Do not think that only when every door closes, only when your body is exhausted, only when those around you panic, only when you have not a single bit of ability left to stand, do I hurry in as the last helper. I am not a father who comes only in the hour of crisis. I was already there on the mornings when you woke with heavy eyes, on the days when you sat amid slow traffic with a heart full of sighs, when you stood washing a dish that seemed meaningless, while inside you there rose an unnamed weariness. I was there when you looked through the window and did not understand why your heart no longer felt as light as before. I was there in the moment you placed your hand on your chest because your heartbeat was pounding after a day that had been too long. You thought those were only ordinary things, but I called them the gentle knocking of mercy. Many times you long for a great sign to know that I care for you, but you overlook the small signs I have placed along your path. You want the heavens to shake, but I have spoken to you through a very slight thirst. You want a resounding word, but I have reminded you through the feeling that you need to sit down. You want a clear intervention, but I have sent you a friend advising you to rest, a loved one telling you to get checked, a child pulling your hand away from the work table, an afternoon beautiful enough to invite you outside to breathe. You called those things interruptions, inconveniences, small matters not worth noticing. But my child, many times the very things you consider insignificant are the first medicine I place in your hand. I do not always heal with a thunderbolt. Sometimes I heal with a glass of water, a proper night's sleep, a slow walk, a refusal to take on more work, a quiet space without screens, a time when you agree to listen to your body before it has to cry out louder. You have become used to honoring endurance so much that you think the more you ignore your own needs, the stronger you are. You tell yourself you only need to try a little more. Get through one more day. Finish one more responsibility. But I have not called you to live like a lamp forced to burn until all its oil is gone. I do not rejoice when you call wearing yourself down faithfulness. Call exhaustion sacrifice. Call neglecting yourself maturity. A child who knows how to listen to the Father's voice must also learn to hear the small bells the Father places in everyday life. When you feel your neck tightening, your breath becoming shallow, your sleep breaking apart, your heart easily irritated, your eyes losing their brightness, those are not merely trivial things. They are yellow lights along the road. Gentle reminders that you are moving too fast, carrying too much, binding yourself to burdens I did not place on your shoulders. Long ago, the prophet Elijah once ran away in exhaustion after days of extreme strain. He no longer wanted to continue, no longer had strength to look ahead, and he lay down under a tree like someone who had used up all his courage. I did not force him to stand up immediately to hear a long sermon. I did not blame him for being worn out, did not rebuke him for being afraid, did not demand that he immediately prove his faith. I sent an angel to him with bread and water. Before giving him greater things, I let him eat, drink, sleep, and then eat again. Do you see? Sometimes the most sacred thing does not begin with a deep explanation, but with very simple care. I know you cannot hear clearly when you are too hungry, too tired, too tense, too deprived of sleep. Therefore, at times, my teaching for you is not do more, but lie down, receive nourishment. Let me restore you through small things. My beloved child, I do not consider ordinary life a trivial place. It is you who often think simple moments are not holy enough to contain my presence. But I have come to you many times in the kitchen, on the balcony, in the familiar chair, in sunlight falling through the curtains, in a brief hallway conversation, in a song that made your hands pause, in a line of words appearing at the very moment you were drifting through weariness. I have opened small clinics throughout your day, without a signboard, without noise, without drawing anyone's attention. An evening sky can also be a place where I call you to breathe slowly. A canceled appointment can also be a gift I use to return an hour of rest to you. A lingering feeling that something is not right can also be a call I place in your body, so you will stop before everything becomes urgent. Do not despise my humble remedies simply because they do not look like what you imagined. I know there are times when you feel guilty for resting. You fear being slower than others. Fear being seen as not devoted enough. Fear that if you stop, everything will collapse. But you are not the one who carries the whole world. You are my child. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to be weak. You are allowed to say, "Today I need to rest," without losing your value. Rest is not a betrayal of responsibility. Rest is the way you acknowledge that you were created to live in rhythm, not in endless running. When you stop at the right time, you do not waste my time. You are entering my wisdom. When you care for what I have entrusted within you, you are not being selfish. You are honoring the gift I have placed in your life. Perhaps I have many times sent people to speak very practical words to you, but you brushed them aside because you thought something spiritual had to sound more lofty. A reminder to get a checkup, an invitation to take a walk, a hand placed on your shoulder asking if you are all right, an offer to help reduce your workload, a message telling you to sleep early. All of these may be little bells of grace. I do not only speak through the altar of solemn prayer hours. I also speak through the care of the people you love, through the laughter of children, through the honest weariness of the body, through a morning when you no longer want to hurry. If you keep demanding that I come in the way you have chosen, you may miss the way I am truly coming. My beloved child, you have the right to love the gentle moments I once placed along your path. You may remember an old season with gratitude, may cherish an afternoon that once warmed your heart, may keep in memory the days when the light fell so softly, the wind blew so gently, and everything seemed just enough for you to breathe with ease. That is not wrong. I do not blame you for being moved by the beauty I created, nor do I tell you to become cold toward the things that once brought you peace. There were sunsets in your life that were like a gentle hand placed upon your shoulder, helping you stop trembling, helping you remember that beauty still remained after seasons of weariness, There were places where you once stood and felt your heart being stitched back together little by little, as though the sky were lulling you with the golden color of the day's end. I know you once wished time could stop there, wished you could keep that scene unchanged, wished you did not have to leave something that had become familiar and safe. But my child, the gentleness of a resting place does not mean it is the place where you must remain forever. I do not take beautiful memories from you, but I teach you not to turn them into a golden cage. There are things that were once gifts in one season, but if you cling to them too long, they can become walls, keeping you from stepping into what I am doing next. You call that place peace because there is little movement there, little challenge, little need to decide, but true peace is not the absence of movement. True peace is knowing that when you leave what is familiar, I still go with you. True peace is when your feet keep walking and your heart does not lose faith. True peace does not lie in preserving the old sky unchanged, but in the certainty that the one who was with you beneath the evening light will also be with you in the new morning. The sunset is beautiful, but it is not your homeland. It is only a place where you rest, breathe, are healed, and then continue toward the light that is rising. Many times you have pitched a tent in the golden hours of your life. You said to me in very small words, "This is enough. I do not need more. I only need to be at peace like this." I heard you, and I understood why you said it. After so many days of strong winds, a quiet space can make you think it is the destination. After being shaken so many times, a place with less pain can make you believe there is nothing more worth risking for. But my beloved child, I have not called you to live a life that is only barely less painful. I have called you to enter a life full of life, more spacious than anything you once dared to imagine. If you remain forever in the gentle evening, you may not be struck hard by storms, but you will also not see the sea open, not see new mountains, not see the dawn I have prepared on the other side of the night. I do not want you to confuse comfort with destiny, nor do I want you to make fear the gatekeeper of your future. Remember the story of Abraham, the one who had to leave the familiar land to follow my call. He did not depart because the old place had no beauty, nor because everything behind him was meaningless. His homeland had relatives, memories, ways of life that had become familiar, roads his feet already knew well. But I called him to go to a place he had never seen, and within that call was a promise greater than the safety of what was familiar. If he had only held on to the old house because it was easy to understand, he would not have entered the journey that became a river of blessing. If he had demanded to see the entire map before leaving, he would have remained forever within the limits of what was known. But when he stepped forward, the road began to open. Not everything was easy, and it was not that he never had moments of confusion, but it was the very act of leaving that gave the promise room to grow. Do you see? There are promised lands I give that can only be received by those who dare to leave the place that once felt safe. In the same way, my child, the place you miss is not necessarily a bad place. Perhaps it was once the place I used to keep you from collapsing. Perhaps it was once a shade in the middle of a long journey. Perhaps there you learned to laugh again, to trust again, to breathe again after weary days. But the gift of one season is not always an invitation to stay forever. I can use a place to heal you, and then later call you to leave so you may mature. I can give you a gentle sky, and then lead you into a wider one, where you are not only comforted but also sent, not only allowed to rest but also invited to grow, not only sheltered but also strengthened in my support. Do not be afraid when I call you out of the old tent. The hand that pitched that tent for your rest is also the hand that leads you through a new land. I know you fear mornings because mornings require you to keep walking. Sunset gives you the feeling of a gentle ending, while dawn places before you unnamed responsibilities, unknown challenges, unfamiliar roads. But my beloved child, dawn does not come to steal your peace. Dawn comes to prove that night has no right to keep you. And the new day is not the enemy of a tired heart. I am not only the father of gentle evenings, I am also the father of windy dawns. I am not only present when the sky grows soft, I am also present when new light dazzles your eyes. You once thought storms were a sign that I was far away, but in the storm itself, you will learn another depth of protection. You once thought movement was dangerous, but precisely as you walk, you will discover that grace does not stand still in the old place. Grace goes with you. So do not turn what has passed into an altar of regret. Give thanks that it was once beautiful. Then let it keep its proper place in your story. A beautiful memory can be a lamp behind you, but it should not become a rope around your feet. A peaceful season can be proof that I once cared for you, but it should not become a reason for you to doubt my care in the season to come. You may look back with gratitude, but do not turn your whole life toward that place. Ahead of you is not a cold emptiness. Ahead of you is the place where I have already gone before you. I do not call you away from the sunset to throw you into darkness. I call you through the night to meet the morning. And in that morning, you will recognize that the new beauty does not betray the old beauty. It only fulfills what the old beauty had prepared within you. My child, your true home is not in a moment where the sunlight has faded, nor in a beautiful scene you try to keep from passing away. Your true home is in me. And because I go with you, you can walk without losing your shelter. When you understand this, you will no longer need to put down roots in an inn. You will know how to rest when I give you rest, and how to go when I call you to go. You will learn to love beauty without being imprisoned by beauty. You will learn to receive peace without turning peace into an excuse to avoid maturity. You will learn that every season has its own radiance, but no season has the right to replace my calling. Rise, my beloved child. Fold up the tent of the former day with gratitude. The sunset has completed its part. Now, I am calling you toward the dawn, where the light not only comforts you, but also opens the way for you to become the person I have long intended you to be.